And there we go. And it's Thursday, and hello, who's already here? Shieldsy and Megaleech and Musical Aviator and Fox of Fate. Hello, gentlemen. How are you? It's already wet up your part of the world, Shieldsy. I think it's meant to get wet down here tomorrow. Takes a while for that tropical weather to sort of work its way down the east coast and get to us. It's kind of like sometimes we get Adelaide's weather a day after they get it. If there's a strong weather cell moving down the coast, we often get it like a day after Queensland does. So yes, I believe there's expected to be quite a bit of rain in Queensland, New South Wales, and northern Victoria. But yes, North Rise, hello. Yes, so wait, which way is my wayward beard? It gets a bit longer and it curls. It's kind of like all my curls back here. The hair gets a little bit long and it curls. My beard gets a little bit long and it goes off to one side. It's fucking annoying. I can never get it symmetrical. It really annoys me. All right. I'm just going to leave it. I am just going to leave it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Bray, how's it going, man? Hellion, hello. Kirsten, the Ratbags and Rapscallions. Welcome you. Shields, I'm going to look progressively whiter each day. Unless I color it again, which I haven't done since when? Since like May last year. So I'm actually not really planning to color it again, but I don't know. Who knows? Anything could happen in this wacky, crazy world we live in. Yeah. My initial thought is not going to color it again. Good evening, Raiders. Braylon, you're with keeping it white. Why not? I've got some beard oil, Fox. I never use. Doesn't work. I don't know. I tend to not use it because, believe it or not, with this gorgeous appearance, I do not spend a lot on beauty routines. It's enough to bloody be focused on brushing my teeth properly in the mornings. Kirsten's made an enormous amount of mac and cheese. Nice. Abigail, you want me to color emerald green? I have not found a good color green that works in my hair. I mean, I could pay a hairdresser to do it professionally. I tend to buy stuff, from chemists or supermarkets. I found some when I wanted to have colors. There was a dark one, and they called it rosewood violet or something. So if you had dark hair, it just made your hair darker. And I sort of have dark hair, made it darker. But because of my natural highlights, they would really catch the purple when the light shone through them. I had, what do we call it? Ramen for dinner tonight. Thursday night's takeout night. And for me, it's even more of a thing now because I'm doing the meal replacement thing. So Thursday night's not just takeout night, it's uncontrolled calories night. So I had like this teriyaki chicken and ramen and some gyoza. Fuck, it's good. There's this place not far from here that young Mazangri found that just does the best fucking ramen. So it is very good. And they have a few interesting things on the menu. Oh, that's nice, Kirsten. You mix 2 different dyes to get the right pink for your hair. Excellent. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Abigail. I'd be very partial to some of Kirsten's mac and cheese. I think I do like homemade mac and cheese. Very yummy stuff. But I might go back to more normal foods. I don't know, in a month or two. We'll see how this meal replacement thing goes. So far, good. We'll see how long I can tolerate it, and then I might go back to more normal food. What am I sipping on, Braylon? This is I'm being responsible, starting the stream with a non-alcoholic beverage because tomorrow is a work day. This is just a pineapple coconut drink with lemonade. Yep, that's an interesting one, Abigail. I haven't heard of people doing that before, putting conditioner in hair dye to soften the color. But for most of the last few years, I've just been like dyeing my hair brown, making it look vaguely natural. Every now and then, if I got bored, I'd do something that had a color in it. And about 10 years ago, I was dyeing it a blue-black. I kind of stopped doing that. I went for something less extreme. But I started putting my natural hair is very dark. Like I always used to say it's black. It wasn't actually black. It was just dark. It's very dark brown. But it was close enough that you could reasonably call it black. But then I dye it with a blue-black to make it really intense. And then also didn't notice when I started going grey, essentially. So, yes. But it was always funny getting a haircut. There's like two things that hairdressers try to avoid saying directly to you: that you have dandruff and that you're going grey. And if they want to mention either, they try and find some, in my experience, they try and find some roundabout way of saying like dandruff, like, oh, we maybe should look at treating your scalp's a little dry. In other words, like, ew, gross, dandruff everywhere. And one time, just the hairdressers, because I was never particularly faithful to anyone. I just go to places, and this girl was cutting my hair, and I was, do a number 3 clippers on the side, and she does that and goes and cuts all this colored hair, and what's under was very silver. And she said, "Oh, you're actually really blonde." And I went, "No, that's gray." And she felt mortified. Braylon, I do see a beard on your profile pic. Yeah. You impulsively shaved it off tonight. No, it'll grow. Either you might really like not having the beard, or it might grow back. No, it will grow back. You might enjoy it, or it will grow back. It would be very weird if it was only might grow back. I think I've only shaved, like clean shaved, twice in the last, how long would it be? 20 years? 25 years? Something like that. Probably only shaved twice in the last, like clean shaved, in the last 25 years. That's okay, not liking beards. In fact, Mrs. Angry said she never liked beards until meeting me. So maybe it's not the beard, it's the person. But yeah, it's a perfectly reasonable preference to have beard or no beard. It's kind of funny, like I forget where I saw it first, but it matched a couple of my friends, like, in the last 10 or 15 years, the huge beards became trendy, and like, girls out with a guy with a huge beard, and just like, one of these days he's gonna shave that off and you'll find out he has no chin. Nova's on special at Dan's for $86.90. I actually just ordered a couple of bottles, not Nova, from Starwood Direct, that should be here in a day or so, because I finished my Nova, and I was considering getting another bottle of Nova, but I thought change up, and that's why I asked you the other night, Kirsten, about which to go for, the Fortis or Solera. So I went for Fortis. I got the limited edition one. They still had the limited edition one, so I got one of that. I just decided I had to have a limited edition one. So it's like about $10 off Nova at Store, 30 cents off twofold. That's a bargain. 30 cents off twofold. That's right. We had that one before, Kirsten. You always had a thing for beards, but your husband's clean shaven. Shieldsy, you were white blonde when younger, so you're going to be white grey by the time you turn 50. Like your old man. That's fair. North, where do I stand on Harry and Meghan? I think it's stupid all around too, man. I don't care. They're super privileged. The royal family is an insane collection of fuck-ups. But Harry and Meghan are so privileged, I don't actually give a fuck about them. But I think probably everything Harry and Meghan said to Oprah was true. Like that the royal family are fucked and racist and just terrible people. But I don't actually care. It's like, oh my God, really? The British royal family are racist? I had no idea. That is astonishing. That is fucking big news. Abigail. Well, see, okay, this is where you might get lucky because I realized, because talking about getting you to do some tech support, it would probably make much more sense for one day for me to bring my computer box over to your place and you can hook it up at your place and check the things that I want checked on it. And, you might get paid in whiskey. So, yes. Oh, Raiders. Piers Morgan losing his shit was brilliant. I love that. He sucks. I like that, Kirsten. Husband's nowhere near usual preference, but 13 years later, still working. Braylon, yes, you're right about people saying he gave up the kingdom when he was like 6th in line, and he'll just keep getting further back in line because when Wills's kids start having kids, they will be more in line for the throne than Harry. Computer box. I'm sorry, am I getting too technical? I'm sorry, I got too technical referring to my computer box. Oh. So, but wasn't it funny, Piers Morgan, when one of his co-hosts just said, you're actually really quite unreasonable. The things you said were just quite unreasonable. And the guy's just trying to have a conversation and Piers Morgan pisses his pants and walks off. That was hilarious. Shieldsy got a new mechanical keyboard for $40 from Kmart. Nice. Nice. Yes, I have a couple of mechanical keyboards on my different machines. Although the one I got for the flash computer box that Abigail built for me, one knob, there's an individual light under each key, and one of the lights is gone, which I don't know if that's something you can do anything about. It's under the B. The B is no longer lit up. Sad, but that also points to other ones are probably going to fail, which is not good. Speaking of mechanical, I remember seeing these custom-built laptops, and I guess you could have, and they made keyboards as well for computers. Somebody made these incredibly ornate keyboards. They were metal. They were like old typewriter keyboards, very brass, very steampunky kind of look basically. And they were super expensive. But this person would make these whole sort of steampunky looking computers for people, which I always thought would be a great money laundering thing. And I say that just because I have experience from my youth when I were in Newtown in Sydney. That was a long time ago, like 30 years ago. There was a shop that did these incredibly ornate, bespoke saltwater aquariums. And you see them in some of the shops and whatnot. And like they were thousands of dollars each. And you look at them, they were worth it. They were the incredible one-off artistic saltwater aquariums with exotic fish. And what I found out is what that shop was actually doing was selling heroin, and the ornate fish tanks was money laundering. What they would do, and because again, the main guy selling the heroin liked making these aquariums as well. And what they would do is have them listed as, for $10,000 each. But what they would really do is give them away to their friends. But then they'd write up in their ledger that they sold it for cash. So it was explaining how they had so much cash. The cash was actually from selling heroin, but it was basically very artistic money laundering. And I thought that was quite clever. And I thought you could do that with these. If I knew someone, if I needed to launder money, if I knew someone who could build these incredibly ornate computers, it'd do the same thing. I'd just give them away to people and say I sold them for like $10,000 a piece. Kristen, you saw someone do a breakdown of the Piers Morgan statement. They're in HR, surmised he was actually fine. Oh, yeah, no, he was absolutely fine. In fact, as soon as I saw him walk off the set for like no reason, I thought, he's been fired. It's basically been made clear to him he's gone. And so he's chucked this hissy fit on set to say, I'm walking out with my dignity. No dignity, mate. But as soon as I saw that, because he walked off over nothing, as soon as I saw that, I went, he's been fired. It's been made very clear to him that he is, and he's just staged this big thing to make it look like he walked out. Yes, Annette, that is a very 90s Newtown story. Yes. Braylon, didn't that happen with Wayfair except some kind of trafficking? I'm not sure what Wayfair is, but traffickers do shit all the time. They come up with a cover for why they have so much cash. They invent some sort of business that they can justify. But the trouble is, if you're a successful drug dealer, you tend to make too much money to hide. So is that film Blow? It's a dramatization of the guy who brought cocaine to America in the 70s, essentially. And I think, Johnny Depp plays the guy. And apparently a lot of the detail in the movie is relatively accurate. Like, namely, like this American guy just went down to fucking Pablo Escobar and made a deal to bring drugs into America, and they were making so much money, and it was all cash, it was all physical cash. They were running out of room to store the physical cash. Like, it was stacked up in rooms in this house they were in, like tens of millions of dollars in cash. Just wild. Abigail, make us want to watch Piers Morgan and Oprah. Yeah, I think I can live without it. I just read the short version. But I saw there was just like 90 seconds of this guy who was Piers Morgan's co-host just saying, you're actually really unreasonable. And Piers Morgan chucking a hissy fit, which was hilarious. And because the thing is, like, it made no sense. The way he walked out is like, okay, it made sense because Piers Morgan is weak as piss. Like, he's pathetic. He is such a fucking loser. And he But the way he did it, I instantly thought, oh, he's been fired. He has absolutely been fired. And this is his version of face saving. Oh, excellent, Braylon. Looked up the scam. The Wayfair people would have a piece of furniture with a special name, charge tens of thousands of dollars, but the name was the name of the person they were trafficking. Ah. Yeah, but yeah. Criminals dealing in large amounts of cash usually find some way to launder it. And yeah, you got to try and come up with a cash business. One of Melbourne's criminals tried to assert he was able to afford to buy 5 houses because his kebab truck was very successful. Took ages for the police to actually get conclusive evidence they could convict him on. It's like, it's incredibly obvious this guy was a criminal using proceeds of criminal activity to buy things. But surprisingly, sometimes you can't just go to a judge and go, come on. You actually had to have some evidence, and it took them years to actually get evidence they could convict him on. Oh, sorry. Okay. I misunderstood what Braylon was saying. Thank you, Kirsten. You brought it out. No, Braylon, that Wayfair story is completely 1000% untrue. It is utterly untrue. I thought it went trafficking. I thought you meant trafficking drugs. No, yeah. Kirsten's completely right. That's an insane QAnon conspiracy. It definitely never happened. Yes, Raiders, Tony Mockball spent a lot at the track. I mean, the big thing the Melbourne Crims were doing was just laundering money through the casino. And the casino kept this bullshit up about, what? No one's laundering money here. And at one point I saw them try to defend, saying like, oh, trying to launder money through a casino is ridiculous because what they were doing, they're coming in with huge amounts of cash, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, buying chips at the casino, then going into the casino. And the casino said, oh, they wouldn't do that because they might lose it all. What they would do is, buy the huge amount of chips, go into the casino, piss about for a few hours, and then take all the chips back and say, I want to cash this in and please give me a receipt. And the casino would go, there you go, $10,000 for your $10,000 in chips. And then the crim would say like $20 and I won $10,000. And it's just like, it was such an obvious scam because the casino wasn't controlling the money that went through because they didn't give a shit. But yeah. Yes, right. Bought a yacht and fled to Greece. Yes. The wily criminals of the underworld. Whatever will they do next? But yeah, as now there's look like there's going to be an inquiry into exactly how criminal is Crown Casino, and they might lose their license, which would be a big call to make because the government makes millions and millions and millions of dollars in taxes from them. Kirsten, when you did jury duty, he was washing the drug money. Yes. But before banks had to report cash transactions, what they would do is pay off a mortgage in cash and then sell the house. And it's like, hey, why have you got a couple $100,000? Oh, here's the deed. I sold a house. And it's like, what? But now banks have to report cash transactions. Abigail, you want to do jury duty? I think most of them are really boring. But it isn't something I've ever done, so I don't really know. Yeah, I'm kind of in two minds. Like some people go, I want a really serious one, like a murder or a terrorism or something. It's like, Not sure. I'm in two minds. Like on one level, yeah, it does seem like it would be kind of interesting, but then also seems like it'd be kind of horrible. So I don't know. Braylon, you've never been summoned for jury duty? No, never happened to me. You have a drink I want to try here. Ugh. Been milk clarifying this. This is a bunch of fruit liqueurs. It's got lemon and mandarin and banana in it. It's my lemon meringue pie cocktail that I milk clarified. So here's another well-hydrated urine sample there. So I might, you know what I'll do? Get a glass for a start. I think I've got a little piece of clear ice I can use. Right, get this sorted. Which one of these? That one. Half used that one. So, right. And I want my clear ice to temper so it doesn't crack. So leave it to sit for a while. I've got to get the curds out. I know, Braylon, what we do want is for it to curdle. But that's the curds up there and the nice clear drink down there. Got to save the curds, actually, which sounds like a political statement. But Mrs. Angry puts these in a dessert. The alcoholic and somewhat colourful milk curds from my beverages. Fox, you've had jury duty twice. First wasn't needed. Second, you wanted to go, but anxiety kicking your ass that day. Past the deadline to get exceptions. Ugh. Right, so first these goopy curds, which is actually from a cream liqueur rather than milk. I was being a bit extra rather than just using simple milk, as I used a cream liqueur that I knew curdled easily. And it did, and it worked quite well. What does it taste like? It's fluffier than milk curds. Very sweet because it's a bunch of milk liqueurs. I'll just wash my hands because they're all sticky from doing this. Sorry. Gonna wash that man right out of my hair. Right. Gotta do that. All right. Oh, I didn't put the curds back in the fridge. Should do that. Oh, maybe I should put a curds in one of my meal replacement shakes. A bit drunk on my butt. All right. Just going to put that in here now. Ooh, that's a big drink. What you can't see because the webcam's not HD enough, the clarification process adds the whey, separates the milk product into curds and whey, and it adds the whey to the drink, which makes it a bit more viscous. It looks really cool. It just moves slightly more slowly than, alcohol normally does. Fox, for the stream title, could have been Scummo makes false statements as usual. Well, it's just because it's like every public statement our shitbag prime minister has made about COVID vaccines has been false. It started off in the early days. He goes, we've done a deal with X for, 10 million doses. And the company in question, a day later went, no, you haven't. There's no deal. What are you talking about? And every time he starts saying about when it's going to happen, it never does. And then, he said, we'll have completed the vaccine rollout by August. Then the health minister went, no, we won't. We actually won't. It's just like, Jesus. It's like everything he says about COVID vaccines is bullshit. Justin in the running to be national chair of Democrats Abroad Australia. Nice. Oh, Braylon, you're getting your vaccine this weekend? Yes, good luck, my friend. See, not to put too fine a point on it, we don't really need it that much in Australia because we got next to no virus in circulation. And it's like not no people dying, not no cases, just like the virus is, look, it's probably out there, but it's just like, it's quite freaky compared to the rest of the world. We just do not have cases in circulation. So, yeah, yes. Fuck, that's good. It's really sweet. My God, it's really sweet. It is so sweet. It's all fruit liqueurs with a strong lemon tinge. That's so fucking sweet. So here's me doing my real replacements. And now I feel like I'm just drinking a cup of sugar at the moment. My God, that's really full on. So, yes, I am drinking a glass of boozy sugar now. So, what are you going to do? Let's see. Raiders, if anyone's interested, Australian legal proceedings, look up Australian Legal Information Institute database for those being made public as a matter of interest. So there you go. There you go. Justin, it's not we need it to. Well, actually, I suppose if our population was mostly vaccinated, it would be less of a drama if infected people came in. That's true. I think we've got to worry more about the rest of the world being vaccinated than us, because you just know if you let the borders be completely open before global vaccination, just variants that there's no resistance to will come here. And this is my bet. The fucking clowns and the LNP and like the business groups and whatnot are going to push really hard to have the borders open too soon, like second half of this year. And I can just see it going all fucking tits up. Fox, boozy sugar, one step away from rum. It's not as strong as rum because it's all liqueurs. It's really fucking good. It's a really tangy lemon flavor. Oh my God, I'm going to get fucking diabetes from drinking this. It's so sugary. Ooh, interesting resource, Raiders. The AustLII, Australian Legal Information Institute database, also has state legislation and amendments. For those who want to, I mean, we're always nerding out about one thing or another on these streams. So why not nerd out about legal things on the AustLII database? Ostli. That'd be a thing. So my ice isn't 100% clear. It is about 98% clear, though, which is pretty fucking good. Considering I just made it in the freezer there with that. Oh, I've got this thing. I fucking broke down there was a product advertised on Facebook from a Chinese website that I thoroughly expect to be a rip-off, but I ordered it anyway. It's a machine that makes cube ice that's supposed to be clear. And is that like only $30? And I do it through PayPal. So if I do get ripped off, I can go to PayPal and say, hey, they ripped me off, and hopefully get the money back. But there's like, I half expect to be ripped off and get nothing. And then I half expect if I get it, it'll just be shit and not work. But we'll see. Your mum's been made public as a matter of interest. Braylon, no, the boiling water thing for clear ice is absolute bullshit. Categorically does not work. It might make the ice a little bit more clear, but it will not give you clear ice. The only thing that will give you clear ice is directional freezing. When people who make ice on an industrial scale, if they make clear ice, they have these incredibly specialized machines that freeze the ice in a particular way. See, why you get all like, okay. What's this? Okay, see, like this is typical ice, right? Just from a normal ice mold, lots of air bubbles in it. What happens normally when you're freezing ice, it freezes from all directions at the same time, and it pushes all the impurities and air bubbles and whatnot into the middle, and they get frozen there, so you get cloudy ice. If you do directional freezing, the ice freezes in one direction, which pushes all the impurities down, so you get some clear ice. Here's my hack for it. Incredibly simple. Insulated coffee mug. You know, the things you get for travel mugs for coffee? It's got to be double wall insulated. So you can see in the top, you just put water in there and put this in the freezer. And because of the insulation in the walls, it doesn't freeze from the sides. It freezes from the top down, and that pushes the impurities down as it freezes. So if it freezes all the way down, it's just the end bit will have all the impurities on it, and you cut that off. But if you time it right and you can work out, oh, it's kind of mostly frozen now and I can see the impurities, and you get the ice out and the impurities will still be water, and then you just have to chip a bit off the end of the ice. If you have a lot of freezer space and want to make a lot of clear ice, you can get like, you know, an esky, a cooler thing, and take the lid off it and fill that up with water and put that in the freezer, and you'll get a great big chunk of clear ice you can mess with. But I don't have that much freezer space. So something as simple as an insulated coffee cup will give you directional freezing, and you can get this neat clear ice. There are some interesting videos on YouTube where people make their own molds to get interesting shaped ice, and then put it in an insulated thing, so it's the same thing down. There are some ice molds that are a great big thing, like, and they'll be either cubes or spheres, and it's basically the mold bit, the cube or the spheres. So there's a big thing about this big. The cube or the spheres up here, and there's a big reservoir at the bottom. And so when you put it in the freezer, because it's insulated except for the top, it freezes from the top down. So the cube or the sphere that's in the mold is completely clear because it's pushing the impurities down. And then this reservoir at the bottom freezes, and that's all cloudy. They're a little expensive and take up a bit of freezer space. These are cheap and don't take up much freezer space, although you can't make shapes without. You could, if you were really fiddly and made your own mold and stuff, you could make shapes, but I can't be bothered. So I just get these cylinders of ice, which is pretty. Yes, life hacks with Angry. That's what's going on here. Raiders, Instagram ad sellers dodge you shit. Huge generalizations. Purchased a knife sharpener. One tiny part turned. Oh yeah, no. Instagram and Facebook advertise dodgy shit. I got ripped off once during COVID. Like, I ordered something that seems really cheap, and then the website just disappeared. And I looked at this one and I went, this is a new website. It's just going to disappear. But I checked, on PayPal about getting your money back if they rip you off. And I went, yeah, I'm going to roll the dice. Now, I actually got an email from them this week that said it's being shipped. So it might actually show up, but we will see. Like I said, it's I'll believe it when I see it. It's this, plug it in. It must be some like mini freezer. I bet it's really noisy. They had a stop motion video that showed it like, it has a cube shape of thing, and it pushes the ice out and the cubes come out clear, which it does seem to be using directional freezing, which would lead me to believe it might work. I'll be pretty, and it's just little cubes. It's not big cubes. It's little cubes that are supposed to be clear. I'll be pretty excited if it works, quite honestly, because it will look very cool in drinks. I'll believe it when I see it, though. So, also, it's only $30, so I will take that under advisement, and I shall tell the world if it works. Right, that was so sickly sweet, which is kind of what it's actually sweeter than I expected. I'm just going to pour some lemonade in there. Sugar-free lemonade after just drinking fucking syrup. That'll make a big difference, though. Drinking some sugar-free lemonade. I should have just poured water on it, to be fair. Justin, why is the royal family having a feud? News? Well, okay, I get what you're saying. The royals aren't any different to other families, but they are, because they are the product of a long line of people stealing billions of dollars from around the world, and they get millions of dollars in taxpayer money every year. So they are different to everyone else. I love some dickhead defending the royals, saying like, and it's cited because in the early 20th century, the guy who was king abdicated because he wanted to get married to an American divorcee, which was against the rules. So he abdicated, and there's a little bit of traitor. And some clowns saying like, even the drama with Edward and Mrs. Simpson, he remained a patriot and didn't tarnish the name of England like Harry did. It's like Edward and Wallace Simpson were literal fucking Nazis. They palled around with Hitler. It was ridiculous. Hey, Grasshopper and Laura, how you all doing? All right, that's not as sugary now. I can just have a little drink that's not completely sugary. Oof. I'm going to take that under advisement. If I make another one with just liqueurs, I am not going to milk clarified just liqueurs because it's too sugary. Got to put some spirits in there. Yeah, that particular thing I was just having was 3 different fruit liqueurs. Actually, well, one was like a creamy vodka thing, but it's all sugar, basically. Laura, doing well. 2 weeks till your first GIC assessment. Good, good, good. Hopefully that puts all the right things in motion. Shannon wants to vent spleen about royals. Who else wants to vent spleen? It's Thursday. That sounds like an angry bunch night to me. I'll put the link. I shall put the link for anyone who wants to join. So there is the link for anyone who wants to join, and we can chat, yeah? Talk about how pally-pally the British royal family were with the Nazis in the lead up to World War II. How they changed their name from Schicklgruber or from whatever the fuck it was to Windsor, because they thought, bit German sounding our name, isn't it? That could be sending the wrong message to the people as we're at war with Germany. So they made up a name. Chilsey! How you doing, mate?
Good, good.
Oh, there you go. Oh, Braylon said he actually got an ad for StreamYard. Oh, that's your mechanical keyboard. Nice.
I wish it wasn't RGB puke.
They all... I don't think you can get a mechanical keyboard that is an RGB. I've never seen one. And Laura. Hello, Laura.
Hello there. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I don't know how I'm awake.
Oh, well.
I don't know how I've managed to just not feel tired.
Yeah. Oh, well, good job. Oop, everyone's joining. Is Dr. Abigail and Grasshopper. Hey, gang.
Hello.
No, we need one more to even it up. Come on, people.
I kind of want to show everyone something that it doesn't. I don't own it. It's my son's, but it's from New Zealand. It's a commemorative coin from their mint. It's the One Ring.
No, nice.
You can't really see it because it's a shit webcam.
Yeah, I can see that. I thought it was the One Ring there.
And it's legal tender, so it's got the.
Oh.
Speaking of the royal family.
Yeah.
It's got pads on the back.
So just wanted to show that off because
can we all just take a moment to appreciate the irony of Piers Morgan, who basically came out and blasted Meghan Markle for talking about all of the mental health issues and other issues that she had while being a part of the royal family, and then had a gigantic whinge when somebody had a go at him on his show, so he basically got up and left.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, because his response around her was something along the lines of, "Oh, she just needs to toughen the fuck up," and then he himself turned into what he refers to us as turned into a snowflake and melted off. You know,
it's my favorite meme. My favorite meme at the moment, because all the Trump supporters are just losing their shit over the tiniest things now. There's a meme of the African guy from that Tom Hanks film, Captain Phillips or whatever it was, about his ship being captured by Somali pirates. And in the movie, they go, look at me, I'm the captain now. And someone's just photoshopped it so he's wearing a MAGA hat and is it, look at me, I'm the snowflake now.
Oh, that's going to trigger them all. That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah. I just stick it on all their posts when they're whining about something. It's like, look at me, I'm the snowflake now.
And of course, the one that I sort of responded to on Twitter about Trump with, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have a COVID vaccine yet, except for the fact that here in Europe we've got our own.
Yeah, no.
So if America didn't have one,
it isn't just that. Yeah. It's untrue what he said. These are the words. A statement from the office of Donald J. Trump with a crest that is obviously meant to look like the presidential seal, but he's legally not allowed to use the actual presidential seal. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. I hope everyone remembers when they're getting the COVID-19 vaccine that if I wasn't president, you wouldn't be getting that beautiful shot for 5 years at best and probably wouldn't be getting it all. I hope everyone remembers. It's like, that's just pathetic. It's so desperate and needy and sad.
I was talking to a guy last night that was trying to say that Trump did really good things because he was like, it was under Trump's administration that we finally got Bin Laden, and it was under Trump's administration that these other good things happen. And it's like, just because he was in the fucking driver's seat doesn't mean that he was steering the car, dude. They
built the Hoover Dam.
The only reason why the COVID vaccine was done so fast is because all the people who put all the effort into folding to get the research going on it.
Yeah.
Protein folding.
And that was the only reason it got done so quickly to find the proteins and everything.
It helped. It did help, but it isn't the only reason. Sorry, Laura's going to... Laura and Abigail are both trying to say something here.
Yeah. I'd like to add to your little analogy about being at the wheel.
Yeah.
Trump was drunk at the wheel. He did all the things possible.
Drunk at the wheel,
Yeah, he did all the things possible to fuck it up, to have maladministration, to politicize wearing masks. It's like, well, they think you should do it, but you don't have to. And as soon as he said that, it became politicized.
Well, Trump's entire fucking thing was to politicize everything and make it them versus us, or us versus them. And that was it. It didn't matter what the fucking topic was. It had to be politicized and it had to be adversarial. That was the only way that he was able to keep the wool pulled over so many people's fucking eyes and pull the wool over more people's eyes as well.
I've got this little saying, that some people can only define themselves by contrasting with who they hate.
Yes. It is one of the things that drives me nuts is when, say that somebody gives you a call, like a friend, and they're in a down and dark and horrible place, and they call you up to kind of get some emotional support, and you do that friend thing and you talk to them. The amount of times that I've heard people turn around to their friends and say, yeah, but your life is pretty bad, but if you have a look at this other person and how their life is so good, but their life is so good because they were given this, or they were handed that, or they were, born of privilege, or whatever the case may be, and basically try and make this person feel better by digging somebody else down, or bashing somebody else down. And that is not, in my mind anyway, correct me if you think that I'm wrong, in my mind, I don't think that that's the right way to try and build somebody back up. If you want to build somebody back up... Sorry, go ahead, Abigail.
I think you're wrong, but not about this. I just think in general, you're just wrong. And you're in a different room.
I am in a different room. I am.
I just noticed.
Yes. So a guy that used to live with us, who moved out a couple of years ago to go and live with his girlfriend, him and the girlfriends hit the skids big time. And so now he's come back to stay here. So the room that I was in was his bedroom before. So I put him back up there. I've come down to this room. And as a result, the room that I am currently in will be the room that you're staying in when you come up.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so it's the only way that
slightly nicer.
The only way that you're going to be able to...
less tobacco smoke smell.
It will be fine, Abigail. I promise you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're doing me a solid favor, so.
The only way that you're going to be able to build somebody back up from that horrible, deep and dark place is to remind them of the virtues that they've got, of who they are as a person, of why you love and respect them as a person, so that their view of the world and their view of their self-worth is based on who they actually are, not who they are in comparison to everybody else. It's just a personal thing.
That's difficult to do with a 70-plus-year-old man-child, though.
I'm not saying that that Donald Trump doesn't deserve all of the fucking flack that he gets, and it is an absolutely solid statement to say our country is better than the US because we don't have Trump as president. But we could also say the same thing about the UK and Boris Johnson. No offense, Laura.
Yeah.
These are valid things, but the thing is that there could always be a change in the government, and now we've got Biden. I keep everything crossed and hoped that eventually our government here will be more of a left-leaning government than what we've currently got. But on that same token, I'm not really holding my breath on that one, unfortunately.
You actually make me feel really guilty now, because that thing about building people up. I'm the kind of person when someone stubbed their toe, like, oh, I stubbed my toe, and it could be worse. It could be my toe.
So that's just comedy gold. That's not tearing someone down. That's just laughing at someone.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks style,
Yeah, Mel Brooks had the line defining comedy.
Yes.
It's like a tragedy is if I stub my toe. A comedy is if you fall into an open sewer and break your neck. And
Yep. Yeah.
That I'd never heard that before, but that's a heck of a statement.
yeah, comedy's about other people's pain, is what he's saying.
Yes. Yes.
A good old slapstick comedy that never fails, really.
Oh God, talking about our change in our government, if Scotty from marketing gets taken down because of his complete inability to handle rapists in the Liberal Party, that would just be perfection.
Oh yeah, no, you get the
I'll
chef's
take
kiss
it.
on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, just because the correct handling would have been so easy, but he doesn't believe in taking responsibility for anything. He doesn't believe in repercussions. And because he got away with bullshit so many times, he thinks he's going to get away with it forever. And it's just like, dude, this isn't going away. And like, if your dude is innocent, what he should want is an independent inquiry to say, you know, what does the balance of evidence tell us? The idea of like, you definitely better not do any investigation whatsoever into this potential heinous crime kind of only speaks in one direction to me. But
what are you trying to cover up?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Did anybody actually watch the Four Corners report on the behaviour in Parliament towards women in general that actually had nothing to do with the rape case?
Can you, just before you do, could you explain what the hell you're talking about? Because I don't know Australian politics.
Big politics in Australia, Laura. The current Attorney General was accused by a woman who actually took her own life last year, I think. He was accused of a quite heinous rape when they were both about 18. And she'd asked for that to be investigated. And the Prime Minister has said it doesn't need to be investigated because he told me he didn't do it, and that's all I need to know. And which is awesome defense to be used in court cases, I think. You know, no, I didn't do it.
That's like also, second only to trial by combat. Let God decide.
But previous to that as well, there was also an absolute queen of a lady, I'm just going to say out loud, by the name of Brittany Higgins. She finally came forward about a rape that happened to her a couple of years ago in the Defense Minister's office when damn it, Chelsea. When they were out at a like an after work function type thing. She'd had a few too many to drink, and this guy ended up getting into a cab with her, got the cab to take them to Parliament House, where he took her into the basically the boss's room, raped her, walked out, left her there. When she came forward to the people that she worked with about, hey, this happened, the basic response was, this is an election year, because this was when Morrison was running against Shorten in our last federal election. They were like, this is an election year. We're not saying that you shouldn't come forward about this, but we're saying that you shouldn't come forward about this. We're not saying that if you come forward about this, you won't lose your job, but we're saying that there's every chance that you'll lose your job. And so kind of forced her into silence for a couple of years. So she's come forward, found out that the guy that she accused has also been accused by other women. He got given referrals and a pat on the back from everybody else that he worked with after the accusations were made of, go off into this really great paying job, terrific job, catch you later. And now that Brittany's come forward, Scott Morrison at first wouldn't talk about her being raped. He was like, oh, I don't have an opinion on it, basically. And then when he got cornered by an ABC reporter whose name I completely forget. And he finally said, oh, yeah, no, she got raped and that was really, really horrible. And she's like, well, before you said that you didn't have an opinion on it, but now you do. And he turned around and he meant this in earnest, and it's the most pathetic thing in the world. he was like, yeah, because I am so concentrated and so much a father figure, I didn't know what it was that I should think until I talked to my wife. And when my wife turned around and said, what if it was me, or what if it was your two daughters? How would you feel then? And that's when I came to recognize how wrong it was. And it's like, you weren't fucking capable of thinking of that before. Like, it's the most pathetic fucking answer to that question in fucking existence.
I mean, effectively, it's say, he's admitting his incapable introspection.
Yes.
But what blows my mind is, okay, I know he's incapable of empathy, introspection, but the fact that he thought going and saying, I didn't think it was a big deal until my wife told me it was, and he thinks that reflects positively on, that's how bad he is. He thinks making that public statement reflects positively on him, which absolutely does my head in.
Absolutely. And since then, basically, it has been found out that he knew about it. He prevented police investigations, or he and his team prevented police investigations and silenced Brittany and all of that sort of stuff. And now that she's come out, her boss, which was the defense minister, whose name I can't remember, she said not long ago, oh my God, she's just a lying cow. And this got out, and Brittany's basically gone, fuck you, I'm not a lying cow. Now, to be clear, if this was on the left side of politics, a few years ago, I think it was about 8 or 9 years ago, Bill Shorten, who was the leader of our Labour Party, he also got accused of sexual assault and rape. And when that happened, the fucking Murdoch tabloids over here went absolutely fucking ballistic with all of it about how bad Shorten is and all of this sort of stuff. Now, the glaring difference between the Labour Party and the Liberal Party really comes to light on this one, because when those accusations came forward on the Labour Party, Bill Shorten and his entire office opened up the entire office to all of the police investigators. Shorten made himself available for all questioning. He never came out and said that the other person was a horrible person. He just said, I'm not guilty of what it is that she's accused me of, basically. The police went through, did all of their investigations. Rightly or wrongly, the police found that there wasn't enough evidence to press charges. Now, whether or not it actually happened, we don't know. But the Labour Party still did the right thing by not trying to get in the road of the police investigation and not trying to stop the person from speaking out about it, where the Liberal Party has done everything they can to silence them when they make the accusation, and then continuing to do so afterwards. When they get found out, because Scott Morrison got found out that he knew about these rape allegations and did nothing about it, and then he turned around and said, no, I didn't know anything about these allegations at all. It was in this other part of the office and I was never informed. And it's been proven time and time again that he has been informed. So he was lying through his fucking teeth.
I'm so sick of them getting away with this shit. I'm so sick of it.
And
I hold out hope that, because it doesn't seem to be going away. Morrison's game has always been just refuse to accept any responsibility, and eventually it'll just go away. And this is looking like it won't go away. I desperately hope it won't. It will be pure poetic justice if what got him was his complete refusal to correctly address allegations of sexual assault and rape within the Liberal Party, because it's his reaction has been consistent all along. It's not important.
It's and it's fucking heartbreaking, because the Four Corners report that they did on Parliament House at its treatment of women is
that's a kitten.
That's
not a full-size cat.
Oh.
That's a kitten.
Okay, that just completely destroyed my.
Why, Abigail? Why?
Oh my God!
You can't drop a kitten in a story like this.
God damn!
No, you got a kitty.
Could you imagine the shit politicians could get away with if they did that?
That's all Scott Morrison's got to do. I don't know anything about these rape allegations. Look, kitten.
Okay, she has to go to bed now, but I just
Oh.
want to. This is William's new kitten.
Oh,
Congratulations,
Will.
William. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I also noticed, as Glee was pointing out in the chat, the incident that the woman alleged happened at this big debating thing when they were 18, and the media tracked down every other person on the debating team and said, "Does this sound plausible to you?" And they all went, "Oh yeah, oh yeah."
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
totally believable.
At least 4 of them have said that we've got direct evidence that actually supports the past lady's accusation. So, that's pretty hardcore. But the Four Corners investigation was it basically just showed that Parliament House is incredibly not friendly to women at all. And the women that work there are treated like absolute shit, and they're expected to basically grin and bear it. The women that there's instances of guys that have come up to their female colleagues and made really sleazy remarks or really sleazy maneuvers towards them. And when the female colleague has turned around and said, that's really inappropriate, I'd really appreciate it if you never did that again, they're like, the overwhelming response to that female colleague has basically been, "Oh, suck it up, princess," or, "Oh, I was only joking, oh, it didn't mean anything," and just completely fucking gaslight
Schrodinger's
them.
comment.
Yes. Schrodinger's douchebag. It was a joke depending on how you react to it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's like one of the old jokes that I do know is, how do you know that somebody's about to tell a racist joke? Because it always starts with, "So there was this black guy, right?"
Yeah.
Yes, this is one of the first half of the sentence that almost never ends well. Is I'm not racist, but
I'm not a racist, but
yeah.
Always something extremely racist is about to follow that. I love prefacing that with going, "I'm going to sound like a complete racist prick when I say this, but," so I don't there's no ifs, ands, or buts about my statement.
Yeah.
At least I'm honest.
Yeah, I did see a comedy routine where the comedian's going like, "I like saying that," and then just saying something that's not racist at the end, and it confuses the shit out of people. Just going like, I'm not racist, but I just saw the best movie ever last week. And people go,
"Yep.
That's not racist." And they go, "That's what I said."
Well, the other great one as well, if you've got a group of friends all sitting around telling racist jokes, you intercede with and you go, "What do you call a black man flying an aeroplane?" And they all stop and look at you and you go, "A pilot, you racist prick."
Yeah.
I got a picture for you, and I saw this a year ago, and it's just like, wow.
Why does it? Oh yes. Why does every woman know a woman who is raped, but no man knows a rapist?
Yes, that is so true.
Indeed, it is
scary.
There was
true.
another one. There was another one that I absolutely loved, of a guy who went on a women's march and he was wearing nothing but briefs, and it was in another language, but the sign said, "I am completely naked except for my underwear around these women, and I feel safe. Why can't they do the same?" And I was just like, "Oh, that is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful." But I mean, on that same token, just to very slightly play devil's advocate for the quickest of seconds, if I knew anybody that was a rapist,
you need a fedora.
Yeah, just very quickly. Yeah, if I did know anybody that was a convicted racist, rapist rather, I would never turn around and go, "Yeah, no, I know them. Yeah, no, I'm good with them. Yeah, no." It's
yes.
I'm going to tell you
the difference between disowning them and
I've got a short story for you. It's a long story, but I'm going to make it a short version. So there's this guy on YouTube, and so he decided to interview a guy about police auditing. So these are the Americans, that's like with a camera to make sure the police don't overstep their bounds.
Yep.
So what happens is, people in the police auditing community warned the interviewer, his name's Steve, that guy, he's a convicted rapist. And so Steve didn't pay attention to this and just did it anyway. And then what he did was, people in the live chat saying the guy you're interviewing right now is a convicted rapist. And he blocked them and stopped them from commenting. And then afterwards, when they put the evidence there, he removed them and blocked them. And then people called him a rape apologist because the fallout from this was Steve getting upset and saying that it's, these people are just trolls and they're trying to damage his show and his channel and stuff like that. And so, fuck them kind of thing. But he thought that the people trying to warn him were the people he hates. People like me who know his bullshit. This is a guy who posted a picture of me as a guy to prove how he couldn't possibly have sexually harassed me, anyway, so people called him out on this statement of like, oh, they're just trolls kind of stuff. And so, and his apologetic for this was, it was a Romeo and Juliet case, where the legal age of consent was an issue.
Right. Yeah.
And people pointed out, you see, here's the problem there. Not only was she 17, which is the legal age, he was a lot older, like more than 10 years older. So then it changed to it was consensual. And people had to point out that this guy dressed up pretended to be an like a plainclothes police officer with a Kojak light, pulled them over, arrested them, put flexi-cuffs on them, put them in the car, and then drove them to a parking lot where he raped her with a gun.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not only that, that wasn't just once. There's video out there of the police chief explaining that he was waiting for the day where that gun would go off one time. So basically and so it was consensual. And then it turned into, which fits exactly to what you were saying before, Grasshopper, which was, well, I've spoken to him, I've spoken to his friend, and I've spoken to his brother, and they say he's innocent, and I believe them, and they wouldn't lie to me.
See, there was
funny how convicted rapists don't lie to and
I
say
need
that.
to not be part of this conversation anymore. I need to
would you like us to change? Would you like us to change topic?
I'm directing.
I'm
directing for the topic to be changed.
All right. No, we're changing topic then. Okay. No.
Thank you.
To go back to the royal family thing that I wanted to vent my spleen about in the first place. Meghan coming out now, her and Harry basically both came out and said, for all intents and purposes, the same thing, which was the pressures and the expectations that were put on us for being in the royal family. Like, we weren't able to go out for just a nice, quiet dinner date because the bloody paparazzi would all be around us. And, when we were in public, that we would have, these group of people tell us this is the things that you need to say, and this is the way that you need to act, and this is the way that you need to look, and you can't go out of script this way and that way and the other way and blah blah blah. And basically it was just too much, and Meghan was especially struggling with this, and the tabloids are coming out one day saying that she was the best thing for the royal family since sliced bread. The next day they're saying that she's not loved by the Queen, she's not loved by this person and not that person, and she's horrible for this and that and the other and blah blah blah. Laura says, I'm terribly sorry, Abigail.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay.
And yeah, so basically they came out on camera with Oprah to say this. And it seemed to me kind of answer all of the questions as to why they got out of that life. And they are valid fucking reasons for getting out of that life. They really, really are. And now you've got all of these people from around the fucking globe going, yeah, but you were the royal family and you're a celebrity, so what did you expect? Like as if it's their fault. Like it was somehow Harry's fault that he was born into the royal family, that it was somehow Meghan's fault that her and Harry would fall in love. Like it fucking blows my mind that people are, for all intents and purposes, victim blaming again.
There's one thing that kind of so I've seen the press over here, and William's wife, she does something, she's praised to the moon. Harry's wife does the same thing, condemned for it. You know, and this has been a consistent story. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Look. So that's on the sort of positive leaning towards them. On the negative side, you know, it's like, yeah, I can't live in Britain because the paparazzi and, you know, that they're awful and horrible.
Hello, Kirsten.
We're going to move to somewhere else. Oh, sorry, you going, Abby?
No, she was just saying hello to somebody that came into the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to move to Hollywood, where to LA, where the paparazzi are a hell of a lot worse. It's basically out of the.
The thing that gets me is and I haven't seen the interview. I haven't seen the Piers Morgan thing. I haven't seen any of it. I'm just based on like what everyone else is saying. But like, I get that they're privileged as fuck and they're rich, and like that comes with all that, but also it's valid to feel mental illness is still valid under those circumstances.
Oh yeah.
And what Meghan was going through was absolutely valid, and
absolutely,
and it was awful despite the privilege.
Completely. May I ask what people's opinion is on Billie Eilish as a musician?
I don't even know who that is.
I'm not a big fan, but
I find this stuff quite entertaining. You know, I'm not a huge fan, but it's quite listenable.
For the most part, I actually enjoy her music, but I think one of the reasons that I enjoy her music the most is because of her as a person. You know, she was one of those, what do you call them, streaming musicians, and she kind of got her fame through doing that as opposed to like signing on for a record deal or whatever. And when she first became semi-famous, I think she was like 16. She was fairly young. But the moment that she hit age of consent, or 18 years old, all of a sudden, everything from all of the tabloids was about her apparent sex appeal. And she has done everything that she can to not enforce that. So she wears extremely baggy clothes, and she doesn't doll herself up to the nines with makeup and all of these sorts of different things. And she speaks very bluntly when she's inside of interviews and stuff like that, as well as to not display anything that she's not, which I really appreciate. But not long ago, she did a video on YouTube, and I think it's still up there, where basically she was just getting sick to death of everybody talking. At the time, it was about the size of her boobs, from my understanding. And her response in this like artistic / music video that she did was basically say, if I wear baggy clothes, you talk about me. If I wear a singlet, you talk about me. No matter what I'm going to do, you're going to talk about me. Maybe, just maybe, you should think that maybe it's none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
And that is exactly the problem with celebrity these days, is that regardless of their privilege, regardless of their money, the shit that they have to go through because of those fucking leeches called the paparazzi, and that ridiculous tabloid bullshit that is eaten up in like your Women's Weekly and your fucking The Who magazines and all that shit. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, so many people used to talk about, oh, I'd love to be rich and famous. I look at it and go, that would be my worst nightmare. That would be my absolute hell.
I considered getting into politics. I think I've got an aptitude for it, and I think I'd be quite good at it. However, I knew that, if I decide to do that, then they'd almost certainly find out I was trans because I was hiding it for many, many years. And it's like, no, I can't do that because it'd be putting myself in a position where I don't want to be the center of attention. And it really comes down to guiding policy for the country as a politician is a great idea, but there's two problems with it. Is that your private life becomes public, and the second one is, of course, that no matter what you do, people will hate you.
Oh yeah, you're never going to be able to please anyone. That's everyone. That's for darn sure. But I remember there was a guy on. We've got a show over here called Q&A. I think that England's got something similar where they've got panelists from the left side and the right side of politics, and sometimes they're journalists, sometimes they're not. Whatever's. There was one politician who I think he or she was trying to decrease our welfare support for people on government assistance over here, and there was a fellow in the audience who got up and asked a question, and he was I forget what, oh goodness gracious, I cannot remember the question that he asked her, but it was very well put in such a way that it showed her to be the rotten person that she was. And the Murdoch press, being a supporter of hers, decided that this guy all of a sudden had a target on his back. And his entire life, from childhood until he answered that, made that question, was then investigated. And they found a couple of instances of him getting arrested when he was drunk out in public, and some other things and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, it was this full character assassination in all of the media against this guy who did nothing but ask a fucking question.
Yeah.
And I see that, and I can't help but think, if I was more politically active than I am in terms of actually getting involved, if at any point I was taken semi-seriously and kind of got any form of attention, the bullshit that I did in my past, where I was a completely different human being, all of a sudden would be brought forward, and everybody would say that I am a bad person because of who I used to be. And there's just no winning with that.
And
this is why I keep admitting I dressed up as Hitler for my muck-up day at high school, because people say that sometimes, seriously, you should do politics. I'm like, A, I wouldn't do that to my family, and B, like, fuck no, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, no, there's entirely too many skeletons in the closet.
How many times can they play clip with me calling someone a cunt? Yeah.
There's an amusing little thing that came out of Question Time, which is pretty much your Q&A thing, and it's gammon. You may have seen that become a phrase on Twitter.
Yes, that's because that's the particular blustering right winger whose complexion is like ham. And
it's basically middle-aged men. Maybe even going into pensioner kind of an age, and they're like red-faced and angry-looking, and they want to ask these questions about Brexit and how good Brexit will be and so on. And it's just and they're called it's just gammon is the nickname that is spread.
And they get super upset by it too, which I find hilarious because it's so innocuous. They try and claim it's racist or whatever. It's brilliant. Also, I agree with Kirsten as well. Glee agrees with you. Billie Eilish is deliberately sort of rebelling against that media shit, particularly because of what they did to Britney Spears. It's like how we all laughed when Britney Spears had her meltdown all those years ago. And then you find out some details and go, oh no, that was a pretty normal reaction. That was a human person being overwhelmed by just decades of horrible shit. And although with the Royals, fuck them. I mean, I just feel like Grasshopper, you were being too sympathetic to them. I think the whole Harry and Meghan thing, I think leaving the royal family, fucking do it. That is a good call. Pointing out that they're all racist as fuck, good call. Pointing out the tabloids are absolute shit, good call. Yeah. Going, poor me, I couldn't lead a normal life. How about go fuck yourself? And the fucking millions that you took from taxpayers, maybe not. But then I can leave that behind, particularly because he wants to walk away from it and go, yeah, you know what? This is actually poison. I don't want this.
I think that in all seriousness, I think that there was a little bit of that in both of their answers to the various questions, in that, you know, we actually felt bad about all of the shit that we were given on the backs of everybody else. But if they were to say that outright, that still paints the rest of the royal family in such a bad light. They knew that if they did that, that would be the fucking end of everything. So, you know, they just...
Fuck them. Like, what can they do? Have them assassinated or, like, hung from the Tower of London or something?
Ask Diana what they can do.
Yeah,
You know,
like there's a whole
okay.
conspiracy. There's a whole conspiracy as to whether or not the Queen was involved in Diana's death. I don't know, to be honest.
She wasn't. That's crazy talk. That's QAnon level crazy talk.
Yeah.
But on that same token, what I will say is, if, and I really stress the fucking word if, the royal family was involved with Princess Diana's death, like if that came out like complete, absolute 100% proof, I wouldn't be all that surprised, to be honest.
What I did find interesting was in the sort of, there were people in the royal family that were racist and worried about whether the baby would be brown.
Yes.
Wasn't the Queen or Prince Philip, apparently?
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't Prince Philip.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Like,
a life of racism.
when I heard there was concerns about whether the baby would be brown, it's like Prince Philip, bound to be Prince Philip. He has a way of putting his foot. He has a habit of taking one foot out of his mouth only to replace it with the other foot.
Or to try and jam both of them in there simultaneously.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, he 100% is a racist.
It's not faux pas with Phil the Greek. He is just a racist. He is a gross imperialist racist. He is literally the worst thing about royalty.
And completely out of touch.
Yeah.
You know, he is someone who has spent far too much time smelling fresh paint.
Yeah.
I love that analogy, actually. No, look, I mean, that is definitely one of the things about the royal family. I do think that I don't think that any of them, including Meghan and Harry, who have just left it, I don't think any of them actually understand or are in touch with what people are actually going through these days. Because they would have heard all of the stories of, you know, X amount of thousands of people living in a first world country in abject poverty. And they do the appropriate in front of the camera tears and, oh, that's so sad and we should help these people, but then do fucking nothing about it. Now that they've left the royal family, they're going to be living in a palatial mansion in a fucking incredibly affluent fucking neighborhood without a financial worry for the rest of their fucking days. The idea that they're going to be in the same line as the common man now, that's completely fanciful. But as Abigail said before, that doesn't mean that their mental health issues aren't valid and shouldn't be taken seriously.
Yes, two things can be true. It's just like they live an exceptionally privileged life and boo fucking who, but they can suffer real actual trauma. Both those things can be true.
100%.
Yeah, like if someone from the royal family made those same complaints but didn't leave the royal family, I'd go, fuck off.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm of the opinion that, like, if I ever won the lottery, for instance, I would flatly refuse to do the lottery interview.
Yeah.
I would flatly refuse to do it.
No one would know. No one would know.
Absolutely.
No one would know.
Yep.
I mean, you might suddenly know from the amount of cocaine I was doing.
The next live stream is just mounds of cocaine all over Angry's apartment.
Doing my Scarface impression, just putting my face into a plum.
If I won, you wouldn't see me.
I
would be gone.
If I won, like my friends and my family, of course, and stuff like that, absolutely. But I wouldn't want to become a fucking a talking piece about me being the guy that won the lottery, because I just know that someone in my past who doesn't like me very much is going to get in contact with all of the tabloids. And it's like that Simpsons episode where Homer is getting accused of sexually grabbing the babysitter when he's pulling the gummy de Milo off a butt. And Mo and Barney and that get in front of their house as the mob's coming forward, and Mo's like, "We've got the real dirt on Homer Simpson, and the bidding starts at $50." Like, that's exactly what would happen if I did the whole media interview. It's like, no, we've got the real dirt on this bastard, and if you pay us, we'll give it all to you. And all of a sudden, my lottery winning wouldn't be so much as a victory as just a full character assassination in the press. And I got better things to fucking do with my life.
Like spend the money you've got.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what? If I mean, I've got lots of ideas of things that I would do. I'd build the best model railway you've ever seen, but whatever. But one thing that I would do is set up a trust for transgender people to help them get surgery or hormones or whatever, because there are a lot of people who just don't have any money and they can't get a good job because they look weird. So it's harder for them to get jobs and things like that. So it's help them achieve their dream.
This has been the thing that I've always said to people. If I could, I would open a gym. Okay, if I won the lotto and I had $11 billion, one of the things that I would do is I would open a gym, and that gym would not be available to all of your bodybuilder fucking meatheads. I'm going to scream as I do my 15th deadlift of 250 kilograms and look how ripped I am. Okay, they're banned from that gym. This gym is dedicated to people who are just trying to lose weight so that they don't get fucking judged by these asshats. But more than that as well, the gym would also be advertised as a full LGBT-friendly gym.
Yeah.
And you've got your Fernwood gyms for women, which I think is a good idea. This would be the Grasshopper gym for the LGBT community, and basically ban other people from coming there so that these people can come and do their things in relative safety without fucking judgment, because we don't have that.
Yeah.
For the freaks, the queers, and the disabled.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I opened a gym, I know exactly the name. I would call it the It's Worse Than That, He's Dead gym.
And you have got your first two members in me and Abigail. We would sign up for that even if we don't live in the UK. We would sign up for that just because of the name alone.
Just wanted on a card.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
So good.
You made me think of, and I'm going to show my age here. Who remembers Dead or Alive? Pete, what's his name? He was another, Boy George was the first mainstream androgynous pop star in the 80s, and then there was Marilyn and Dead or Alive. So Pete, someone or other with his name. They were more disco than the others, but they did a cover version of the old Casey and the Sunshine Band. That's the Way I Like It, and it was just the lead singer with his hair up to here and wearing black spandex all over, flexing to this sort of grungy disco. That's the way I like it. That's my type of gin. I think just people just with really grungy disco playing and.
Pete Burns is the guy you're thinking of.
Pete Burns, thank you. Who passed away not that long ago.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Do you know what I forgot to do something at the end of last year, and I just when I was looking for that picture that I shared earlier, it's like, oh damn, I forgot about that, because I was going to make. There's someone I watch on her name's Rachel Maddow. She's on MSNBC, and she was like, she goes on about Trump and stuff, or she did at the time anyway. And so I was going to make her an advent calendar and send it to her, and it would have been I'm just sharing this for you, and it'd just be this. It would just be different news interviewers with the faces of what? Angry, you sharing this?
Sorry, what is it? Oh, this guy, yes.
Yeah, and it was just
right,
so many, it would just be an advent calendar full of faces like this of just different things. People going, what?
It's
Or,
like the pencil drawings of like your Neil deGrasse Tyson going, oh, we got a badass over here. The pencil drawing of the atheist guy that's giving that look to Bill O'Reilly back in the day, where Bill O'Reilly's turning around to him, tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain this, and he's like.
Those were called Rage comics, and I miss them so much.
Oh yeah, here.
The olden days. There was a good image when Bill Nye, the science guy, the educator from America, he agreed to do a stage debate with that idiot who was originally from Queensland, who had the Noah's Ark theme park. And there was a still shot someone got of, like in the foreground of the shot, Ken Ham's talking, and Bill Nye's just behind him, and Bill Nye's staring straight at him, and the look on Bill Nye's face, who's the politest guy in the universe, the look on his face is just, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I remember when that debate came out, one of my favorite tweets was just from some random on fucking Twitter, and it was my 2-second analogy of the Bill Nye versus Ken Ham debate. Bill Nye bent Ken Ham over the podium of science. Bill Nye bent Ken Ham over the podium and injected his 9-inch dick of science and said, now consider the following. And he, like, I watched that debate, like, with a bit of trepidation, because it is one of those circumstances. It was the favorite thing of that absolute waste of space moron Ken Hovind, where he would do every debate that he possibly could in order to try and gain more attention and gain more fucking footing. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it worked. And I was afraid that was what was going to happen with the Bill Nye versus Ken Ham debate. But I don't think that they truly understood who it was that they were bringing on stage in terms of Bill Nye. This guy was dedicated to teaching science and the scientific method to kids. And he was then giving this debate to a bunch of completely scientifically illiterate adults. And he was able to give it out in such bite-sized pieces that even, and there's been studies that show this, that a lot of the hardcore creationists that watch that debate have now kind of moved away from the creationism side of things. They may still believe in God and all of that, but they're kind of going, evolution is a thing, and the age of the universe is a thing, and global warming is a thing, and and it was because of how well Bill Nye did in that debate. So my fucking hat off to Bill Nye on that one.
Yeah, and
awesome. That's good to hear.
This is the picture. I love this picture. It's like,
that's the one.
He's just staring at him like, the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
like,
no.
he's too polite to say anything, but he's just like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, no, there was a great point in that debate and said, what, if anything, would change your mind? And Bill Nye came out and basically said, evidence. Give me evidence and I'll change my mind, and I'll say to everybody that I was wrong. No problems at all. Ken Ham came out and went, nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. The crux of the disparity between the two.
Absolutely.
The two camps completely. Like, you can't argue with people who are not willing to listen to evidence.
Absolutely.
It's just pointless.
Look, I mean, evolution.
what's funny about it is the Creation Research Institute, which I think is Ken Ham's little, college for scientific literacy and lying, has a pledge where you have to basically vow that evolution is wrong.
Yeah, you have to sign the same thing if you want to work at the Ark Encounter and a lot of these various businesses that these places operate, is that you actually have to sign a thing saying, no, I don't believe in evolution, I believe in creationism. And if I'm ever asked by anybody, then creationism is the way. But I will say this as somebody who has studied it, as somebody who truly understands it, for anybody that ever says to you, evolution is just a theory, in that colloquial sense, don't bother with the whole you don't understand what a scientific theory is versus normal theory, all of that, because that's just always going to go over their head. No, the answer is evolution is as much a fucking fact as gravity. If you don't want to believe in gravity, feel free to throw yourself out of a second-story window and test that hypothesis.
Yeah.
Because we've got more evidence for evolution being a fact than we have got for gravity being a fact.
Yeah. And it
is a fucking fact.
You dense motherfuckers, you're more than willing to believe in science because you believe your computer will switch on when you press the fucking button. You believe your car will drive. But as soon as it's something that's inconvenient to you, despite the fact it's got the same body of knowledge behind it, suddenly you're the expert. Also, my favorite thing is Ken Ham's theme park got destroyed in a flood. I think that beautiful.
I remember that was just
the Creation Museum.
No, the Ark
Noah's Ark experience. The Noah's Ark theme park.
The Ark itself got partially destroyed by flooding. Not completely, partially.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it got flooded, which I think. Not that I believe in God, but God was speaking there. So,
that is definitely poetic justice.
What's really funny about the whole, Christian evangelist denying science is that it comes from Seventh-day Adventists. Some lady called Ellen G. White, who basically was dropped in her head or something, or had a accident of some kind, and she had seizures, and when she had seizures she'd have these visions, and so the whiplash effect of Darwin, right, in his Origin of Species, was nope, that's wrong, that can't be right, so therefore we're gonna lie about it ever from now on. And but the thing is, the right-wing evangelical Christians can't stand Seventh-day Adventists. They're heretics.
Well, they are. They're a bit of a loony cult.
I mean, look, there's, as I love saying to creationists who I meet, I'm like, do you believe in Allah? Do you believe in the Quran? Do you believe in the Islamic faith? No, of course not. They believe exactly the same thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just replace the word God with Allah and replace the Son of God with a prophet. Because they do believe that Jesus was there. They do believe that Jesus was he was but he wasn't the prophet the way that Muhammad was in their version of the things.
Yeah, he's a prophet and he's not the Son of God.
It's the same fucking thing. And you point this out to people and they're like, oh, they don't believe in the same thing as me. They don't believe in the same God as me. It's like, they fucking do.
Yes.
They really do. So do Jehovah's Witnesses. So do Mormons. So does every other fucking monotheistic religion, basically, have exactly the same fucking same beliefs as you. The ones that change, like your Wiccan and your pagan type, more spiritual religions, they don't have a single God, but they have still got a lot of tie-ins and a lot of similarities to Christianic beliefs. Like, it's all intermingled, all of it, and you can't fucking deny that.
Yeah, and as much as he's a piece of shit, I did like one of Ricky Gervais's atheist lines in an interview. It's just like, I like to say to someone who's, whether they're Jewish or Muslim or Christians, going, you're almost as atheist as me, because there were thousands and thousands of gods before yours, and you don't believe in any of them, and I don't believe any of them. So we've got this huge common ground, but you just believe in one more God than me. So there's thousands you don't believe in, and I agree with you on that. but we're this close. There's just one you believe in, but we share common ground in all the other thousands that we don't believe in.
Richard Dawkins had a very common response to when people turned around to him and said, "Why don't you believe in God?" He would turn around to them and say, "Why don't you believe in Thor? Why don't you believe in Odin? Why don't you believe in all of these old school gods that used to be the gods of the time? Like, it's the same fucking reason, basically." I agree with you. Ricky Gervais does some funny things, but overall, I think he's a bit of an asshole.
He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
Absolute yeah.
The one comedian that I can't fucking
piece
stand.
Of shit.
The one comedian that I cannot fucking stand, no matter what, though, is that fucking ass clown C.K. Lewis. I seriously dislike that piece.
No, you mean Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Sorry.
C.K.
Now, what I will say conversely is nearly all of Louis C.K.'s comedy is funny, but he's a horrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries, same thing. Although, to give Jim Jeffries some credit, he's come out and said, yeah, some of the shit that I used to say before, that was fucked, and I should never have said it. I'm never going to say it again, to give him some credit. But he still kind of toes that line a little bit too much for my liking.
Oh, he's bogan. Jim Jeffries is bogan humor, basically.
Oh, completely. So yeah.
He's always getting up in people's faces.
But his gun control routine is still just fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what my biggest problem with the Bible is? The 10 Commandments. And then specifically, it's the 9th commandment. Because coveting your neighbor's ox is perfectly fine when you're playing Scrabble.
Sorry, say that again.
Okay, there's a joke coming here and I'm waiting for it.
Sorry, I said coveting your neighbor's ox is perfectly fine when you're playing Scrabble. Ox. O-X.
Because X is worth a lot of points in Scrabble.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
So I apologize for being too
That
now.
is such a very British fucking joke, Laura.
Yeah.
That was
That's
just
too British for us.
personified. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious, Laura! You should hang your. I don't know whether you should hang your head in shame or put a mark on your fireplace for that one. I don't know.
Hold your head up in triumph and shame.
You'll just have to imagine me hanging my head in shame for that.
Oh goodness gracious!
I'm trying to remember a particular comedian's name. He's got a few Netflix specials. He's really funny. It's a really skinny guy and American. And there's Kids Something at Radio Hall was one of his specials. Just going to say, even the good comedians have fucked lives because he seemed to be sort of together, but he had to go into rehab for cocaine abuse.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, now it's bugging the shit out of me that I can't remember his name.
My favorite comedian of all times was like hunted by demons his entire life until unfortunately he took his own, and that was Mr. Robin Williams. He was he had everything going for him, and he had those demons because of fucking drug and alcohol abuse back in the day left him with really horrible depression demons.
He had really serious mental health issues.
Not only was he depressed as fuck, but also he was diagnosed with, I think, Parkinson's disease. When he got the diagnosis, he just said, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go out on my own terms. And he did it. He had support from friends when he did it. And power to him. I am so sad that he's gone, but he went on his own terms. And I
never heard that
he's
before.
Just a boss.
He was diagnosed with something else as well, which is far less known. But what it does is completely breaks you from reality as well.
I did remember that. Yeah. And there was that other diagnosis that I heard about.
He was really like, no. I'm not going out like that.
It was Billy Connolly that has been diagnosed with Parkinson's. He's also been diagnosed with something else, and he's knocking at death's door. And I've got to give Billy Connolly credit. Now, I met Billy Connolly when he did a tour of Australia. I did bodyguard work for him. And he is a fantastic guy to hang out with. Just to be clear.
And Nettie is screaming in chat.
That's it. Lewy body's
dementia. Yeah.
That's it. That's one where you get totally disconnected from your own body and the thing. And it was a great big like no, not gonna degenerate like this.
No, well, Billy Connolly, after his diagnosis, he went out and did another tour where it was basically, I'm dying, and I'm going to try and help other people to recognize that death in and of itself shouldn't be feared, that it's completely natural, that it's going to happen to all of us, and that we need to come to peace with that. And I give him credit for that, because that's a very difficult thing to broach these days. I operate as somebody with a good understanding biology. I absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that one day I'm going to close my eyes and never open them again. Now, that may be through me falling asleep and going peacefully, or it may be through a massive heart attack or cancer or whatever. But it's going to happen. And it's as inevitable for me as it is for everybody else in the universe. It is not death in and of itself that I think that people are afraid of. I think it's the suffering before death that they're afraid of. And yeah, so I give Billy Connolly some credit on that, but I don't think,
Kitty's back.
Abigail, again, I'm talking about death. And you're like, have a kitten. Like,
is it my imagination, or is the kitty's eyes really blue?
Yeah, I'll.
They look really blue.
She's squeaking because she doesn't want to be held. She wants to go down and explore.
And just by the by, I got obsessed with looking up the comedian I was trying to remember from Netflix, John Mulaney. If you want good, like exceptionally funny comedy that doesn't do cheap shots, John Mulaney's specials on Netflix are good. And I think for my mind, the pinnacle, the perfection of the 1 hour comedy special format is Bo Burnham's Make Happy. Just throwing that out there.
Yes,
Tig Notaro nails it as well.
Tig is very funny. She is so good at the deadpan stuff.
I love it.
Apparently just heard there's some YouTube videos, and I forget what they're called, but it's basically Tig Notaro doesn't know who you are. Like, Tig Notaro's big thing was not knowing anything about pop culture. And so they do this interview thing where really quite famous people, not current A-list, but possibly at one point A-list or at least B-list, would come on, and and it's immediately like 99% of the population immediately knows who the person is when they come on. And Tig Notaro's there, I don't know who you are. And Tig Notaro has to ask questions to try and work out why they're famous. and some of the people think she's faking it and going, like, you really don't know. And she's going, I'm sorry, I have no idea who you are.
So great.
And she's so good in Star Trek too.
Yes. The one thing that I think that Jerry Seinfeld did that was actually really funny, but unintentionally, was when Kesha met him at the red carpet and ran up and tried to hug him. And she's like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan. Can I give you a hug? He's like, no, thanks. No, because he had no idea who she was. Yeah. He thought that she was a complete random member of the public, and he is not a fan of being touched at all. And he's just got this random woman coming up and going, can I give you a hug? And he's like, no, I'm good. Nope. Just nope. I just laughed my ass off on that one because Kesha's going to be walking away from that going, but I'm Kesha.
Possibly unpopular opinion, I am broadly a fan of the stuff he did, comedians in cars getting coffee, because he usually lets the other person talk. He doesn't make it about him. And he just is interviewing comedians about doing comedy. They vary. Some of them are very good and some of them are very bad and some are in the middle. But broadly, maybe because I'm just interested in the craft of comedy, I like this. And I've seen people I like, people whose opinion I respect, fucking hate that. And I'm like, I'll just stay quiet because I kind of like it. But I'm not starting a fight over Jerry fucking Seinfeld. But
like, I don't think
Not a
I
hill
don't
I'm
think
gonna
I'll ever
die on.
understand. I don't think I'll ever understand the fascination of the show Seinfeld, and I don't think I'll ever understand the fascination over Friends. Like this is somebody who watched every episode of The Big Bang Theory, so judge away. But
Oh yeah, no, I judge you so
yeah.
fucking hard for that.
Yeah, that's so
So,
judge worthy.
Jesus,
Sorry,
judge
not
heavy.
sorry.
Judge heavy.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah.
no, you got to rethink your life. That show is okay. So I've issue with that show on so many levels.
So many.
It's sexist as fuck. It's not funny. Its jokes are like they're not laughing with nerds, they're laughing at nerds, and it's just awful. And it's just like as a sitcom, it's just like just so ordinary.
Yeah.
Just on its own, but with all that's
actually
do yourself a favor.
Sorry. Yes. Go.
Go.
No. Go.
Do yourself a favor and watch Big Bang Theory without a laugh track on YouTube.
Oh, that's on
And
YouTube.
You will
It's
see just how
haunting.
not funny it is. Yeah.
No, I have.
haunting.
I've watched it. No, to be clear, the reason why I watched every episode wasn't necessarily because of the comedy that they tried to put forward. It was the way that Jim Parsons played Sheldon. I thought was absolutely fantastic. Now, I will also just say this very briefly as well. The sexist shit that they had in the really early seasons of it is completely gone by the end of it. And I give them full credit for that as well.
I didn't stick around because when we say sexist,
yeah.
I'm going like rape jokes. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, no, there
I'm
was
going
like
to go out and take advantage of drunk girls because they don't
Yeah,
know
no,
any better.
the William
Dude, that's
Wolowitz
rape.
thing.
That is legally
Oh, no.
and morally rape. What the fuck?
I agree completely. No, I agree completely. And when I saw that, I was a bit like, that's a bit wrong. But what kept me coming back was Jim Parsons as Sheldon. Nothing else. It was just the way that he played that character. I thought was incredibly entertaining and very funny. Was just the way that he did it. It wasn't the jokes in and of themselves that I found funny, except for one joke, because Raj can't talk to women and he's also afraid of bugs. And there's that one line that Sheldon says to him. He goes, "Oh, you can't talk to women and you're petrified of bugs. A ladybug must render you catatonic." It's the only part of that show that ever made me like properly laugh. The rest of it was just like, okay, whatever. But no, Jim Parsons was really, really great. And now I've seen him in other things, in more serious roles. He's a really good actor.
He's a
Yeah.
good actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bit I found ironically funny is the biggest nerd in the cast in real life is Katie Coco, or whatever. How they've been the blonde bimbo. She's the biggest nerd in the whole cast.
Counterpoint. What's her face who plays Amy Farrah Fowler is has a PhD in
neuroscience.
She's an
Neuroscience.
actual scientist.
Yeah,
she's an
I bet
actual
Katie
scientist.
Coco is a pop culture nerd.
Her name is Mayim Bialik.
Mayim Bialik. That's it. Yep.
And I'm a huge fan of hers. The point that I became a massive fan of hers was at a red carpet interview where they were talking to her about the Big Bang Theory. And they're like, in the Big Bang Theory, they talk about calculus. Can you actually do calculus? And the look on her face is a bit like, do you not know that I'm the only person in that cast with an actual fucking PhD? Like, it was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
I think my favorite thing that came out of that show was rock paper scissors lizard Spock.
Yep.
I want to see a supercut of Fun with Flags. I want to see. I'm looking it up now.
The cameos. The cameos of Will Wheaton and Brent Spiner and LeVar Burton and all of that. Like, it was, I always kind of look forward to that as well, just because I'm like, but I was always upset that they never got Patrick Stewart or Jonathan Frakes. I was always upset with that.
Have any of you seen Fresh Hell? I mentioned it before, but I don't know if any of you have seen it.
No. I've seen the first episode of that. I've seen the first episode.
It's basically Brent Spiner in a desperate attempt to clean back his career.
That's on YouTube, yes.
A thing. And effectively, we never know what the thing was. It's just called The Incident. And, there's like one bit where where you've got oh crikey, what's his O.J. Simpson saying it could be worse. I could have done a spiner. It's that bad. It's like he was on the convention circuit and he like punched out a kid or something. Who knows? We don't know what happened.
Can we all just take a second just to appreciate that it was the fucking Brit who used the word crikey in a not like shit-stirring sense?
Yeah,
it was the bloody Brit that did that. We're all Aussies, and none of us have said that ever. And you just used it. I was just kind of like, oh, fuck, yeah. Just sorry, that was funny too.
Bedtime.
It is
bloody
bedtime.
That was one of the side sketches on The Young Ones, a terrible BBC sitcom called Oh Crikey. So where they just have stupid typical BBC sitcom setups that go wrong, and someone goes, "Oh crikey!"
I don't think crikey is exclusively Australian though.
No, it's actually one of the ones we inherited from the UK.
Does it mean something different in Australia?
No, it's just an exclamation. It could be a good or a bad exclamation. It's just an exclamation. Like, oh crikey, that's a beautiful car. Or crikey, I just stubbed me toe. Like, it could be used either way.
Yeah. It is literally a substitution for saying Christ. I
didn't know that. Just a vernacular thing here. And besides which, you've already got your own word that starts with C, and you use it all over the place. And we don't say very much here, and that's the C word.
Okay.
Some of our Aussie
we like the Scots, we use it as a negative and a
Yeah, we really do. No, my favorite word to come out of the UK, I'm sorry, but it's still my favorite word of all time to come out of the UK, and it's just bollocks. I just love that word. I don't know why.
Yeah,
and it's
not looking up the fun with flags.
Fun with flags.
Because Mega Leech has told me that it exists.
To be clear, I tried to watch an episode of The Big Bang Theory the other day. I can't get through an episode of it now. Like, I'm just like, no, this is really boring because I've had my fill of Jim Parsons as Sheldon. I don't actually enjoy the show. So, Anywho, you're going to go to bed and be a party pooper, aren't you, Angry?
Because I got to work tomorrow, but I don't have to work on Saturday. So Friday night,
long and prosper.
Open.
All right,
cool.
Like your mum, tomorrow. Open. Yeah, that's right.
Love you guys.
Good night, everyone.
Gotta get the occasional your mum joke in there. See you all later. Big party tonight, baby. Bye.